So today we're going to talk about comebacks, right? Like what happens behind every great comeback. And before that, I'm sure you've seen the thumbnails, right? Uh, I've I've put more than one thumbnail, so I don't know which one you saw, this one or this one. And I'm assuming you don't need any introduction about these legendary figures, Elon Musk, Tiger Woods, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Tyson. Let me ask you a question, okay? Let me ask you a question. What do you think is common among all of these guys? What do you think is common among these people? You might say, well, these are all men. No, no, no. All these guys were the greatest when they were in their peaks, right? That's what everyone says. Well, Michael Jordan got the championships. Julius Caesar, he declared himself as the dictator, and so on and so on. Franklin Roosevelt. But the reality is, all of these guys had little wins in their career. And after that, they had the greatest humiliating downfalls. Can you just give me 1 minute? I am so sorry. Guys had humiliating downfalls in their life, humiliating one, right? And still, we know them because something happened, right? They did a comeback. So, what happens behind every great comeback, right? Like you bouncing back like a spring. That's what happened in these guys' lives. And what happens behind it? And most importantly, why should you might ask yourself, okay, but why should I know about the comebacks? Well, I'm sure you can relate to this. You're either chronically online or you have this analysis paralysis. You might be procrastinating, or you might have like great potential, you know what to do, but yet you're lazy and you're also out of shape. Out of shape doesn't mean, you're not fit, but it's just you're not comfortable with your own body, and you're probably so sorry. Uh, yeah, and you're probably waiting to look at what's going on about, world politics or some celebrities fighting with each other, shit like that, right? Or maybe all of these things. Maybe you have all of these things in common, right? And most importantly, when you have potential and you're not able to act on it, you're wasting your time and you're also giving away your future, right? And I'm saying it as someone who is doing it, right? Not all the time, but I'm trying to be productive just like you. I'm not saying I achieve things. You can still see that I live in a really normal house. I barely make any money. So like I'm authentic and I'm in a similar situation. I believe I'm chronically online and lazy at the same time. So I'm assuming you can relate with me. And most importantly, rebuilding your lost confidence. Because the reason we are chronically online, procrastination, even like all these things happen because you know what you want and you also know what you should do, but yet you're not acting upon it because you're not confident. You've lost that spark, right? And that's why we're going to look at what happens behind every great comeback. When we come to Robert Downey Jr., he was sentenced to prison for substance abuse. He was jailed, dude. He was jailed. Mike Tyson, he was arrested multiple times. Not once, not twice. He was arrested thrice, right? For many allegations. And also, I think Uh, Even in something happened in the boxing ring, and for that he was also arrested. And he was humiliated left and right. Everyone in America at that time when he was getting arrested, everyone knew about it. Think about that for a second, right? Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was fired from his own company. Can you believe that? He was fired from his own company that he founded. Like, how pathetic is that? That's like, uh, I mean, I can't even think about how your own team will vote you out of your own company, right? And Michael Jordan actually retired after his, father's death. And after a little time, he did return back. And, this famous 46 is not 23. I think I'm saying it wrong, but there used to be a rumor by two players in basketball ring, and he was humiliated, and he was told that he lost his edge in the game. Dude, that is some, like, think about it. He, there were uh, shoes named after your name, and then you were humiliated openly, right? Tiger Woods. Think about it. When you think about golf, you know, like when you think about football, it's Ronaldo or Messi, and when it's about golf, it's Tiger Woods. And yet, in Tiger Woods faced, you know, uh, humiliation, like due to his scandal, and not only that, he had to go through, uh, really big surgeries and a spinal fusion because when you want to, uh, you know, touch the ball, golf, you have to, you know, bend like this and do it. So every time you're doing it with full force, your spine is literally taking in all that weight and force. So, these surgeries, these four major back surgeries and this crucial spinal fusion, this might have happened due to the game that he was good at. So he liked it, and yet he had to go through a major fallout, right? Elon Musk, I don't even think I need to start talking about this guy, but in 2008, think about it. His problems are rocket science, right? And like the three SpaceX rockets launches failed. Usually rockets fail because they're tough and there's still so much of research going on. And this guy is going against governments and he failed. And think about calling someone to an interview and humiliating him. That's how bad it was, right? And Tesla, he also invested in Tesla. By the way, he did not found, he was not the founder of Tesla, right? He kind of acquired the company uh, from someone, the EV Tesla company, and he lived on borrowed rent. What? And Winston Churchill, one of the most known for being conservative, being in conservative company party, he was actually, you know, like ignored by the whole conservative party in 1930s, right? And he used to write books of his political career when he was in, in this kind of not up appearing publicly. And I mean, think about it. Churchill resigned in shame after Gallipoli disaster. God, like, and th this is the same guy who kind of gave warnings about Hitler, and yet he was branded as warmonger. And in political career, when someone clearly resigns, it's a it's like a biggest downfall, right? Because it takes so much of trust again by the people and also people in the Conservative Party and also in the parliament and someone who is, rich, who has to fund his campaign to come back again. So, like, he resigned out of shame. That is like one of the biggest humiliation thing, downfall. In 50 BC, Caesar, Julius Caesar, who was a senator, right? And he was also heading army, he was ousted out and he faced a trial, financial exile. And if you read a little bit of history, you should know that he was captured by pirates. He was captured by pirates. But he was like one of the highest ranking senators in the Rome. Uh, but boom, you know, that's how power works. And one day he was big senator, and now he was, he was being captured by pirates. He was facing trials. Like his biggest downfall started, right? Yeah. So this is one of the popular stories, like uh, startups which have actually made it and actually solved their problems, and they have been humble enough to innovate, right? So in 2007, uh, Howard Schultz actually not resigned, but he was, a little away from the company. He was the CEO, but after 2000, he kind of did not really involve himself in decisions. And by 2007, Starbucks was losing all of it, right? And uh, so what happened is they used to modernize everything in Starbucks. Think about AI automation that's happening right now. That was happening in cafes of Starbucks, and the traffic plummeted because people were just going to other cafes which had this human touch and were really easy to communicate the message. And Starbucks was losing all of its revenue, right? The Napoleon Bonaparte, right? Think about this. Napoleon Bonaparte waged a war, and yet he went into a situation where he was prisoned, like he was exiled to an island, and he was jailed by his own people, where who went to war with him, right? Who went war with him, and what happened in France was the royal kingdom. I think Louis XVIII took charge and the royal family took charge of France. And those guys, just sent him to a nearby island near France, and boom, he lost everything. Like yesterday he was waging wars, and today he is in jail in his own country. What? That's like, cannot even think about it. D. Roosevelt was, was a senator in America of USA. And during peak of his career, I wouldn't say like he was on par to become the president. No, not really. But he was a really like in spotlight senator, and he contracted polio, dude. He did not get polio like some kids get when they are, born. Usually you get it in childhood, but he contracted polio in middle age, right? Like so. Like, think about it. He had the motivation, he had the knowledge, he had the potential, but his body literally gave up on him. Something that you like emotionally cannot take in with your mind, right? That's what happened to him. So what did all these guys do after this? So what happened after the downfall? Hmm? What did these guys do? Because most of us, we do not take action because we fear the downfall. But these guys, they actually went through it. So what happened? Hmm? They actually went to war. What do you mean went to war? They went to war with themselves, dude. They went to war with themselves. This is their brain, right? And this is their discipline. And this is just an example of how our brains might work. But this is literally what happened in their minds, right? Because you might get polio, you might be in jail, you might be uh, captured by the pirates, or you might be, filled with directors of your own company trying to tell you, sir, this is not going to work, this is going to work, this is not going to work, trying to take their piece of profit. This is what's going to go on in your mind, right? A war, a literal war in your mind. Let's see how it works, right? So primarily, so sorry. Yeah. So primarily, this is how our life works, right? These are the results. A good body, rich, money, whatever achievements you want, cars, bikes, and whatever you want to travel around the world. Those are the results. But results, my friends, come from habits. But habits are everyday decisions, and decisions can be made when you identify with them, right? So this is something that's vice versa. If you think you're a king, then you're going to take decisions like a king. So it becomes your habit to behave like a king. Boom, you are a royal person. And that's how it works. It's always been the identity. This is the same identity that helped Robert Downey Jr., who came from a jail, come back like a spring. And, in his career, he landed Iron Man, right? He landed Iron Man role. The same identity. This is the match that Mike Tyson went after, he came out of prison. And this is the same match that grossed $96 million on live television. That was not normal, by the way. They had no internet in those days, and yet the TV streaming got them $96 million. In today's market, I think it will be like more than I would say at least 500 million. This is how you come back because your identity, this did not change. So you took decisions. It doesn't matter you're in jail, you're in exile, you're in your own house because people don't believe in you. You never changed because identity is too strong to get influenced by external results, right? Identity can influence results, but results cannot go like this. Results can be seen and taken as evidence to change your identity, but it's not that easy, right? After all, a wolf is a wolf, even if it grows in among dogs, right? So the same identity made him Iron Man. The same identity made him Mike Tyson come back, $96 million grossing on television. The same identity made Steve Jobs. You know what happened after they ousted him out? He worked on himself. He came to India. He went to many countries, and Apple came to a situation where they had to do something. So Apple just called him back, and obviously, the famous speech where Steve Jobs says, "I'm gonna give you a phone book. I'm gonna give you something to listen, and I'm also gonna give you something to call to other people." Right? This is the famous speech. If you did not listen to the Apple iPhone introduction speech, bro, you're missing out on something entrepreneurial shit. So go and listen to the speech. It is on many levels one of the most persuasive speech, and he gave us the iPhone, right? Michael Jordan won three championships, all-time championships, after he was humiliated for Chicago Bulls, after all that, uh, you know, setback. Tiger Woods, uh, after, he went through all that surgeries and all that infidelity scam and all those things, he came back and again won the championships, all world championships again, because his identity never changed. He was always Tiger Woods. And obviously, Elon Musk is the richest person. And you also might have heard NASA took help of SpaceX. Let me let me repeat that again. NASA took help of SpaceX to get those two astronomers from International Space Station to back to Earth. And he's the richest man in history. That is something. Uh, the crowd that you're seeing right here, this doesn't come. This is Winston Churchill, and we all know that Winston Churchill was playing a crucial role in leading Britain against Nazi Germany, and Britain won, right? These all people, they believed in him because his identity never changed. Julius Caesar, my friends, went again back to the kingdom, and he it's kind of a military coup, and he became the dictator of Rome after his exile. Because after the civil war, he kind of became capable of becoming the dictator, and boom, he became the dictator of Rome. And that's why we remember him. We don't remember him for the setbacks that happened to him. We remember him because he was the dictator. He declared himself as the dictator. Napoleon Bonaparte, guys, you should see this the scene in the movies of Napoleon Bonaparte, how he took back the world, took back France kingdom, the French kingdom, right? So he escaped from the island, the prison, and he just marched to the castle. And when the soldiers were ordered to kill him, none of them killed. That's how revolution happens. And I think the royal kingdom fell, and Napoleon became the emperor. And of course, imagine a person who got polio, went back, stayed in home, came back. I think they tried to cure him or something like that, but he did come back, and he became the longest serving president. Longest serving president of US till now. If he can do it, bro, anyone can do it. I wouldn't say anyone can do it, but if we put our mind through it, we can do it. Because he had polio. This guy was prisoned in an island. They had no internet in those days. I don't know how he influenced it. He was captured by pirates. He used to live in normal, civilian houses. Think about some senator or a mayor living in huts. That's how it was. And in those days, it was much bad, right? This guy was left to rot in bed, literally, literally. And he led Britain into, victory for World War II. These all guys made it, even if they had no probability, something close to zero probability of winning, and they came back. And obviously, this all means we need to make a decision every day to win, no matter our mood is, no matter what our mood is. Because think about it, what do you think his mood would be? Huh? He had polio. He was not born with it. He got polio in middle of his life. I'm pretty sure his mood would be bad, and yet he became the longest serving president. So we need to make a decision every moment, every day, no matter what it is. And, strive for greatness. Actually make decision for greatness. And with that, I want to end with one quote. Success is not an accident. Success is actually a choice. And I'll let you uh, guess who said it in the comments. And like that, every one of us can make a comeback. You, me, anyone. Because we're only afraid of downfalls. We saw people who came out of downfalls, one of the biggest ones, right? All these guys, they had thousand reasons, and yet we know them, right? They became legends, dude, because they did not give up. Yeah, so that's what I want to say. Yeah, I let you guess who said that success is not an accident and success is actually a choice. I'll let you comment who said it, but it's true, and that's what we need to do. That's it for now. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.